All right, Sunday Night Football just wrapped up. 49ers 30, Cowboys 24, fourth straight win over Dallas for the 49ers. Lots to break down from this one and the entire slate of games. We'll talk Jayden Daniels, Hail Mary against the Bears, wild finish there. This is why you subscribe to the channel. NFL, college football, reaction, news, other content every single day. It's 100% free. Don't miss out. And help us grow. Trying to get to 5,000 subs ASAP here on the show. My name is Harrison Graham. Let's dive on into it. Niners 30-24. Dallas gets a couple of fourth quarter touchdowns to make it interesting. Actually got the ball back down 6 with about 3:15 to go. And you're thinking, the Niners really going to blow another game? Is Dak really going to do this? And then he doesn't. 4 straight incompletions. I mean, it's just like, well, that's kind of typical. When you're out of it, you get back into it. But when you get the ball with the chance to win, you just can't get it done. I will say, it threw a nice little deep ball to Turpin down the left sideline who couldn't squeeze it. But none of the other plays had a chance. San Francisco survives. They improved to 4-4. Dallas falls to 3-4. They get to the Cowboys in a second because obviously there's going to be a lot of discussion there. Jerry's been all over the place. McCarthy's seat seems to be warming up. This was kind of a dominant win. I know the score says they only won by 6, and Dallas had the ball down 6 with the chance to go win the game, but obviously they failed. They outgained Dallas 469-292. They won the third quarter 21-0. So you see glimmer of the dominant San Francisco teams we've seen in recent years. Now, it's clearly not there yet. It's inconsistent game to game, quarter to quarter, but if the Niners can just get a few more things to click, I still think they can be a factor in the NFC. It sounds like Christian McCaffrey is going to come back pretty soon, so that'll be a big lift. But clearly, from a consistency standpoint, they're not there right now. Purdy was good, not great. I thought he struggled at times in the first half. Big third quarter, he throws for 260 and a touchdown. Garindo rushed for 85 because Jordan Mason left this game. He had a touchdown as well. Purdy rushed for a touchdown also. So it was a good offensive performance. You put up almost 500 yards. It's a good day at the office. Now, Dallas's defense has been bad. Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence are out again. So I'm not going to act like, oh, San Francisco's back. Like, they almost choked it again. But nice win when you had to have it. 4-4. Got a lot of tough games coming up. So that was a much-needed win for Kyle Shanahan, for Brock Purdy. Just calm the waters a little bit, get back to 500. And every team in the NFC West has 4 losses. Seahawks, 4-4. Niners, 4-4. Cardinals, 4-4. Rams, 3-4. I mean, you get to 10-7, you're going to win this division. So who do I trust out of those 4 teams to do that the most? Probably San Francisco. If the Rams are fully healthy, I think they're intriguing. But the Niners, they're the team you would trust the most to pull that off. All right, Dallas. Kudos for not folding. Fought back into this one, gave yourself a chance. But let's be real. Until about 10 minutes left in the game, you were getting your ass beat. And maybe Jerry spins the way they came back as well. We're making strides. We're close. Just got to keep at it. I don't know, man. I think the Cowboys, it feels like this thing could really implode. I mean, Dak Prescott, 2 more picks tonight. They can't run the ball. 56 yards rushing on 19 carries. I mean, they elevate Dalvin Cook from the practice squad tonight, and you're kind of like, yeah, that's the answer. Dalvin Cook. 6 carries, 12 yards. Zeke, 10 carries, 34 yards. I mean, it's just a joke who they're trotting out. And Jerry continues to say they couldn't afford Derrick Henry, whose cap hit is less than $6 million this year. Just embarrassing. Dallas has lost 2 in a row, 3-4 on the year. Their upcoming schedule, you ready for this? At Atlanta, Eagles at home, who look pretty damn good today. Texans at home. They're a little wonky, but that's still going to be tough. At Washington, that's going to be tough. Giants at home, that's a game you should win. Bengals at home, at Panthers, should win. Bucks at Eagles, Washington. There's a couple of games in there where like, okay, they're going to beat the Panthers, clearly. They should beat the Giants at home. Other than that, every game's losable. I mean, this kind of feels like they're just going to stumble to like 7-10, 8-9. They've won 12 games each of the past 3 years. That is not going to happen. They're 3-4. That means they would have to go 9-1 the rest of the way. There's just no way. Defense isn't good enough. Dak's not having a great year for his standards. I mean, last year he was runner-up in the MVP. This year, he's nowhere close. CeeDee Lamb's their only good playmaker on offense. They're just not good. I mean, they're not good enough. You see little spurts, like they had a nice little fourth quarter push to give themselves a chance, but they're kind of just a way worse 49ers right now. They flash at times, but inconsistent. Doesn't feel like it feels like McCarthy's losing the rope a little bit. Jerry is causing all kinds of distractions. It's just chaotic. It is chaotic. And if they lose at Atlanta and against Philadelphia the next 2 weeks, I could see Jerry pulling the plug potentially. He doesn't want to fire a coach midseason, but it wouldn't completely shock me if they went in that direction. So 49ers 30, Cowboys 24, much needed win for San Francisco. Dallas all of a sudden, Washington 6-2. We'll talk about them in a second. Eagles 5-2. Their chances of winning the division are pretty slim. If they're going to be a playoff team, it's going to have to be in the wild card variety. All right, let's talk about it. Commanders 18, Bears 15. Jayden Daniels 52-yard Hail Mary at the gun to win the game. A lot of you guys know I host our Bears channel here at Bears Now, or here at Chat Sports. It's called Bears Now. Go check it out if you're a Bears fan. Just a wonky game. Wild game. Insane finish. Tons of angles to take this. I think the first one I want to mention before we just talk about the Hail Mary itself is Washington clearly outplayed Chicago. I mean, you just go across the board. Total yards, 481 to 307. Even if you take away the 52-yard Hail Mary, that would still be 429 to 307. So that's over 100 yards more. Yards per play, 6.7 to 5.1. Passing yards, 313. Bears 111 when you factor in sacks. Rushing, Bears actually outgained them on the ground, 196, 168. Penalties, Bears 8 for 60. Commanders 5 for 30. Time of possession, 33-27 in favor of the Commanders. Turnovers, Bears had 1. Commanders had 0. They outplayed them. The Bears were in this game because they forced 5 field goal attempts, 4 makes. They didn't give up a touchdown until the last play of the game, the Hail Mary. Their red zone defense kept them in the game. Caleb Williams was inaccurate early on. I shouldn't say never. He was good in the fourth quarter. First 3 quarters, he was all over the place. Offensive line was bad for Chicago. They had a couple guys get hurt too, and they really struggled to protect. But this is a pretty demoralizing loss. The Bears tight end, Cole Kmet, said it. He said, you got to focus on the positives in the process. But he said himself, it's pretty demoralizing to lose in that way because rarely do you get a chance to steal a game on the road when you get outplayed. And Chicago was 25 seconds away from doing that. They took a 15-12 lead with 25 seconds left. And on their last 2 plays, they do not defend. They play Hail Mary defense with 6 seconds left. So Cliff calls a 15-yard out route because it's undefended. The Bears just concede 15 yards, gets close enough to Hail Mary range. And they needed those yards because on the last play, Jayden was flushed around and launched the ball from his own 35. And the ball was tipped at about the 2 or 3 yard line, and then caromed into the end zone for a touchdown. If they don't concede that 15 yards, they're not going to be able to attempt a Hail Mary pass. So I think Matt Eberflus, the Bears head coach, failed on multiple occasions. Failed the last 2 plays. He doesn't take a timeout before the Hail Mary. And if I'm sure you guys have seen it now, Bears corner Tyreek Stevenson is barking with some fan for the Commanders. Clear as the ball is getting snapped for the Hail Mary, then he runs over to the pile and is ironically the one who tips it up to Noah Brown for the Hail Mary. It's just like an all-time embarrassing moment for him. He's issued an apology. I'm sure the Bears will move on from it, but just you see some of these visuals and you see some of these decisions. The Bears handed the ball off to a backup lineman, Doug Kramer, 3rd and goal at the 1 earlier in the fourth quarter, down 12-7. He fumbles. It's like, what are you doing, Shane Waldron? And you watch that game, and my biggest takeaway is the Commanders are just better coached. Dan Quinn he's a more buttoned up coach than Matt Eberflus. Flus can clearly coach defense. Well, so can Dan Quinn, except for he can manage games better. He's been to a Super Bowl. Cliff Kingsbury, say what you want, simplify the offense, whatever you want to call it. He's scheming guys open more consistently than Shane Waldron, right? Like, I watched that game and I'm like, the Bears have a better roster. They should not be getting their teeth kicked in by Washington. And I give Chicago credit for taking the late lead, but then you have another coaching malfunction to lose the game. Like, the Bears are not going to fire Matt Eberflus midseason. They've never fired a coach midseason. But if he doesn't start winning some of these 50-50 games, he's 3-17 on the road now. They're going to have to make a change. And Bears fans are clamoring for Ben Johnson, who's just toying with people, the Lions offensive coordinator. Jayden Daniels, I thought, was good today. Not great. I mean, it was 12 points before the Hail Mary. I thought the Bears actually did a pretty good job on him. Clearly outplayed Caleb Williams, though. 21 of 38, 326 and a touch. Even if you take away the 52-yard Hail Mary and the touchdown, 20 of 37 for about 270. Caleb 10 for 24, $131. Now, I thought with his back against the wall, 2 drives in the fourth quarter. The first one, again, his OC lets him down by calling a fullback dive to a backup lineman who fumbles on the goal line, drives down again, and takes the lead. Like, I thought Caleb showed guts in this game, in a game where he did not play that well in. Jayden probably shouldn't say probably, pretty clearly wasn't 100% either. Played through some rib soreness, made enough plays. Bears made it tough on him. But I just look at the two teams, and I think the Bears have a slightly better roster, although 2 of their members of their secondary were out, and I felt like they got outcoached. They came out of the gate slow. They were shut out in the first half. If you watch the Bears, they start slow every week. It's like, okay, you do it every week. That's coaching. It's a devastating loss for Chicago because they fall to 4-3. Commanders improved to 6-2. The Bears' schedule, they're at Arizona next week, which is another 50-50 game. New England at home, a game they should win. But then their final 8 games are their 6 NFC North divisional games. So 3 on the road, 3 at home: Green Bay, Detroit, Minnesota. At San Francisco, Seattle at home. I mean, that's 8 tough games to finish. Like 4-4 would be an excellent mark there. This is a game you really needed if you're Chicago, and you almost stole it. That's why it would have been such a huge win. Like, when you have a chance to steal a game on the road when you've been outplayed, like, that's the best win you can get. Like, you don't get that chance very often on the road in the NFL against a good team, and they just let it slip away on the Hail Mary. So, pretty demoralizing for Chicago. Huge win for Washington. NFC East feels like a 2-team race now between Washington and Philadelphia. They play, let me see here. So Washington's at the Giants next week, Steelers at home, and then they play at Philly November 14th. Primetime game as well. I think that might be a Thursday nighter. I think it is. Thursday night football, November 14th. And then they play the Eagles again on December 22nd. So those 2 games could very well decide the division. And at 6-2, if you're Washington, like, how real is this? I don't know, but they feel like a playoff team at least. Bears, kind of back to the drawing board. Got outplayed, lost in demoralizing fashion. I don't know. A lot of questions about him, Matt Eberflus. It's year 3. He's 3-17 on the road. That's it's tough to shake. Like, if you feel confident that you could get Ben Johnson, like, it's gonna be tough to justify keeping Matt Eberflus if you're the Bears. It really, really is. All right, before we get out of here, just some more thoughts. Christian Kirk, Adam Schefter reported this morning that he was going to be a strong trade candidate. Well, he broke his collarbone. So Jags wide receiver likely isn't going anywhere. Jags, by the way, lost 30-27 to the Packers. Played pretty well, but couldn't get it done. Jameis Winston throws for 334 and 3 touchdowns. The Browns upset the Ravens 29-24. Feels like a big win for Stefanski as the Ravens' 5-game winning streak gets snapped. I mentioned Ben Johnson. The Lions scored 52 points in 3 quarters and beat the Titans 52-14. Tennessee's defense is pretty decent too. I mean, the Lions offensively are just rolling. They're 6-1 now. Cardinals get a huge win, 28-27 in Tua's return. They're 4-4 now. They got the Bears at home next week. That's a massive NFC game. Feels like the loser of that game is in trouble when it comes to the NFC playoff picture because it's very crowded about team 5 through 10. So that's a big game. Dolphins 2-5. They're in trouble. And then it's got to be said, the Jets and Aaron Rodgers. I mean, it's a joke. They lose to the Patriots. When Drake May leaves concussed, they lose to Jacoby Brissett in the Patriots, get outscored 18-9 in the second half, 25-22. I mean, could it get worse for the Jets? What a joke that franchise is. Again, I don't think Robert Saleh is some awesome coach, especially a head coach. I think he's a good DC. But they fire him, the defense instantly collapses, and Ulbrich is just completely out of touch. He has no idea what's going on. What a disaster for the Jets. Great win for Gerard Mayo. Falcons beat the Bucs 31-26. So Atlanta has now swept Tampa in the NFC South, and Tampa's banged up at receiver. Feels like the Falcons are the favorites to win that division now. Texans 23, Colts 20. Still feels like something's a little off with Houston. I mean, Anthony Richardson in this game for the Colts, 10 for 32. And the Houston Texans barely win. I know they're 6-2, but there's just been some weird games. I'm watching them. Chargers kill the Saints 26-8. Saints are just, they've lost 6 in a row. I mean, what a disaster. I know they've had some injuries, but just brutal. Bills 31-10. They cruise past Seattle. Josh Allen, James Cook, big games. Keon Coleman coming on too. Broncos 28-14 over the Panthers. Bo Nix 3 touchdowns. Bryce Young, couple of touchdowns. Did throw 2 picks, but Panthers just nowhere close. Chiefs beat the Raiders 27-20. It's 27-13 with a few minutes left, so they kind of cruised. And then that's it. We got Monday Night Football tomorrow. Giants Steelers. Can't wait for that primetime game. Yuck. Take the Giants out of primetime. All right, week 8, wild stuff. Hail Marys, close to collapses. Just crazy week, crazy sport. It's a lot of fun. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We will continue to pump out content here on a daily basis. My name is Harrison Graham. We will see you guys tomorrow.